And now it's time. I said and now I said it's time. And now for something completely Machinima. And now for something completely Machinima. And now for something almost entirely, very precisely, but just not exclusively, sort of adjacently, kind of approximately complete Machinima. And now for something completely Machinima.
Hello and welcome to another episode of And Now for Something Completely Machinima. I'm Damien Valentine and I'm joined by my co-hosts Tracy Harwood.
Hello.
Phil Rice.
Hey there.
And Ricky Grove.
Woo!
All right, this week we're going to be discussing Machinima related news, and I'm going to start off with some sad news we received quite recently from longtime Machinima community member Kate Fosk. I'm just going to read out her posts as she wrote it. I know some of you may remember my filming partner, Mike Joyce, back from the Moviestorm days onwards together into virtual worlds. He wasn't much into social media and stayed in the background even when making a contribution, such as towards Machinima Expos, and some may have missed meeting him. He was such a funny man, and we had a lot of fun together over many years. I'm sad to report that my friend passed away this week from cancer. I'm so glad I had the chance to get to know him and help him extend his creative life when he retired from real-life filmmaking and joined our crazy Machinima crew. So I can't say I knew Mike Joyce that well, but I do remember the films that he worked on with Kate very well, and it is a big loss to the Machinima community.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I think the times that if I'm recalling correctly, the times I can recall interacting with him were, well, the Machinima community interacted in a very different way back then, didn't it? So we had,
Yeah.
I don't remember him being a part of Machinima.com's forums, but you know, that kind of flamed out anyway. But in the wake of Machinima.com going the direction it was going, sites like, you remember Machinima Premiere, mprem.com?
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of a little like a safe space that a lot of Machinima people that were interested in, first of all, being kind to one another, but secondly, supporting each other and sharing our work and stuff. And I don't remember if he was involved in actually running that site or if that was someone else, but I do remember some interactions with him there. I remember him being very kind and supportive, and you know, he and Kate were kind of thick as thieves as they worked on stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah. I haven't had a chance to interact with him in decades, I guess, you know. So, but yeah, I certainly do appreciate. And you know, we're sorry for your loss, Kate.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to other news now. Again, Kate, very sorry for your loss. So, I've got two pieces of news. One was GTA 5 filmmaker, and he is live streaming his production technique of making Machinima using Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I haven't actually had a chance to sit down and watch what he's been doing, but I thought I would share this article. It was posted in the PC Gamer on their website recently, and I thought, this is going to be interesting for anyone who's interested in Grand Theft Auto Machinima, because you can watch what he's doing. You can learn from it, and there's probably lots of stuff in there that you can apply to other games as well. But I imagine, obviously, with this is the GTA focus here. So I wanted to share that because, could be useful. And, it's always nice to see Machinima getting this kind of attention from a publication like PC Gamer.
Yeah.
For those of you who remember last month's news episode,
And now for something completely Halo.
I was watching the Xbox Summer Games Fest stream because I'd heard that there was going to be a Halo update of some kind.
Oh, joy.
And I didn't tell either of my co-hosts what I was watching. I told them I was watching it, but I didn't say why until the announcement was made.
Oh,
And
we remember.
yeah.
We remember.
So we didn't actually cover that much about the Halo thing in the news episode, but it turns out maybe we should have, because what they've done is they've recreated the very first Halo game and they're calling it Halo Campaign Evolved. And it's got the multiplayer and it's a upscaled graphics and all of that kind of stuff you'd expect from a modern day remake. But they're also including a Machinima mode, which I don't know too much about because I'm not a Halo fan. I don't think any of us are really. But when I saw that there's going to be a Machinima mode, I thought, maybe this is something that should be mentioned in the news. At the time of recording, the game is going to be released in about 2 weeks.
Cool.
Yeah. I can't say I'll be buying it and making Halo Machinima, but Halo Machinima was a big part of the Machinima community and of
Sure
Red
was.
versus Blue. So it's nice to know that the people updating this game can appreciate the history the game has for the community, and have included some filmmaking tools in the game, which they are actually calling Machinima Mode.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to mention that, and maybe we'll see something good made with it. So that's it. That's my Machinima news.
Took them long enough. Christ, they should have had one 15, 20 years ago, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I'll think about it.
For all we rag on Halo Machinima and most of the reasons for that, I think we would all agree on.
Self-evident.
Yeah. However, what was and may be intriguing about Halo as a Machinima platform was if your Machinima was based on doing live puppeteering, which is how, at
Yes.
least in the certainly in the earliest days of Red versus Blue, when that was being made, it was in a multiplayer environment and one person was controlling each character. And it wasn't as sophisticated a puppeteering as like the iClone did, but still is the same concept. And if you look at a lot of the early Machinima from Quake 1 days, that was the only way to do it then too. And it was all puppeteered. Everybody was controlled by, a multiplayer character. And also I'd like to mention too that I know of at least one person, and I'm sure that there's many, who got started by making Machinima in Halo and moved on to become quite brilliant at what we would call more sophisticated kinds of Machinima, all the way up even into iClone. So, maybe it's handy that it's there as an entry point, because honestly, the amount of skill needed to get started making Machinima in a platform like that is considerably less than just trying to dive into Unreal Engine, for example.
Yeah.
There's very little learning curve at all. You don't have to worry about facial expression or lip sync. It's those limitations we talked about in
Right.
the last episode, right? So it's in that sense, if it invites people to get a taste of storytelling, then for some people that's all they'll do with it. But for some, it will ignite something, more serious, and they will pursue they'll find that they want more control over it, or want to do something that's not just helmet guys walking around, So,
Right.
yeah, so I think it can be looked at as a positive thing, even though, yeah, we're not really stacking up the list of films that we've reviewed on this show that originated in that
recent
game,
years.
right? Yeah.
But it is interesting, is it not? That, what you're looking at here is a game being released as a nostalgic tool set, harking back to a time when Machinima was at its most popular.
Mhm.
and now appealing to what must be third going into fourth generation creators.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's really what we're looking at here. That's impressive, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
you know,
agree.
it shows you how sticky Machinima has been over the years. The fact that you would A, go back to one of those early games, and B, integrate the very tools that one of the most popular group of creators had something to do with developing with the games company, is actually now recognized as part of the tool set, and there it is for the next generation to pick it
Sure.
up and create.
I would argue that Red versus Blue was probably the most influential
Of
Machinima
course.
series
I think
in
without
all of
question. Yeah.
Machinima in a way that
Yes.
it said to the general public and also to professionals in
Yes.
Hollywood and animation circles that this can be entertainment, that this can be legitimate, witty, funny, intelligent entertainment.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that was a step that, had that not happened, I don't even think we would be here talking about the.
I
No,
think you're
I
probably
agree.
right.
I think I completely agree with you. But it's interesting that it's only now being re-released for the
Yes,
the
yeah.
next generation. I think that's because there's a groundswell of interest in Machinima again. I actually see it
Also,
across.
I agree, but there's also an interest in remaking and upgrading the technical elements of classic games.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a
I mean,
lot of
this-
that going on right
Yeah,
now.
it's a wave that's been going on for the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So they're just joining that trend. But you're absolutely right, Tracy. The fact that they decided to do that is impressive, and then also include a tool
Mhm.
that they knew generations of filmmakers would use, game makers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say
Yeah.
that if it wasn't for Red versus Blue, I wouldn't be here because I watched Red versus Blue. I think there was 5 episodes out at the time, so I watched all 5 of those. This is before YouTube existed as well, so we had to download these, for the time, large video files, and watch them, even though they're only a few minutes long. And I thought, you know what, I've got story ideas, so I'm trying to figure out a way to tell these stories. It's nothing like Red versus Blue. I don't really do that kind of humor, but just watching it made me think, so what if I find a game that suits what I want to do, and then I can do what they did, but my way.
Yeah.
So I found Neverwinter Nights. I found a modern day mod to change the graphics from the Dungeons and Dragons setting to the modern day setting that I wanted for my story, and looked up, how to catch a video, and that's how I got started.
I think it was in a very inspirational series, not just in the fact that it could be successful and you might get the attention of the community in the wider world, but also the fact that you could take your ideas and express them inside of a game.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I will say, as a little challenge to our viewers and listeners, if you are thinking about buying this new Halo game, whatever reasons, if you're a big fan, that's fine. And if you want to play around with the Machinima mode, please do. But don't make Red versus Blue. Do something that's not a comedy show. Do something like a serious story, or something that is experimental, or something that's not Red versus Blue or Red versus Blue inspired. Do something different with it, because I think we'd all appreciate seeing Halo used differently than just imitating Red versus Blue. So if you do make something like that, please send it to us to have a look at.
And it's why we are here.
Yeah.
Good, Damien.
Right, so that wraps up. Like, you go ahead.
I got a little piece of news.
Right.
Remember the game that I talked about many months ago called Tiny Bookshop?
Oh,
Where
yes.
you're a little bookseller, and you arrive in different seaside communities and stock your books and sell your books. Well, it's been highly successful, and it is now expanded into handhelds. So your Switch and all of that, you can sell books while you're riding to your awful job on the bus.
It's a very fun, casual game. I bought it when it first got released, and played it extensively. There's like a calendar year on there that you play through, and I played it through that far. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I would love to figure out a way. I don't think it's possible, but I would love, vis-a-vis your comments, Damien, about creating your ideas. Bookselling, having been in bookselling my entire life, I can tell you that the interactions between people are not quite as sentimental as they are depicted in the game.
I suspected as
again,
much.
They don't want to show all of the warts and everything, but I think it would be fun to do that. And one of the recurring types of people that show up in bookstores is the person who is so lonely they realize they've got a captured person at the front counter at a bookstore, and they camp themselves at the store and they just talk. Now,
maybe one of the mini games in your version would be escaping that, right?
Yes. How can you get out of it? But when I say talk, I don't mean 5 minutes. I don't mean 10 minutes. I mean 2 hours. And you want to be, they never really say anything that's enough for you to say, okay, that's it. You really have to stop now. They just gamble on in just a stream of consciousness of everything that they're doing and what's going on. And even if you politely say, I really would like to talk to you, but I've got to work on this register here, ringing people up, they don't care. They just keep talking over and over and over and over and over again. And most of the time it's great. Sometimes it's not good at all because they might be a political person, and so they say all of these outrageous things that you just want to stop and say, shut the fuck up. But you can't. So that's just one type of character that you'd find in a bookstore, and that might be fun trying to come up with something.
Yeah,
I think we could fill out the entire cast of that game just by reading through Lisa Morton's Facebook feed.
Yes.
She's told a number of very funny stories over the years.
Yes.
Some of the stuff she's encountered there. It's just amazing.
Oh my God. She just recently they had a new job opening, and get this, she got 600 resumes.
Goodness me.
600.
wow.
How do you
This is for
go
the
through
job
that?
she talked about the other day that she was really downplaying. Hey, you're not going to make much. You're going to be lifting 50 pounds, all of that. That job got 600 resumes. That's amazing.
600 resumes. And she just finished going through all of them yesterday and then made a very funny post about things you shouldn't do when you submitted a resume.
I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to check
One
that
of which was, hey, is it okay if I live in the bookstore while I'm trying to find a place in LA?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my bit of news.
Ricky, you should take some of these experiences you had in the bookstore and make a machinima out of it.
I would like to. I've been jotting down ideas and things. I've always wanted to see a TV series that actually got the bookstore experience right. Because every TV show that had a bookstore in it never got it right. Never. It was always
I think the only one that ever got it right was the Monty Python Bookshop sketch.
Yes. The guy with
FLB Aardvark goes quantity surveying.
Yes. That's the only one that got it right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Marvelous.
All right. Well, I encountered a very interesting tech demo as part of the State of the Unreal 2026 presentation this week. I won't talk at length about it, but it's for a game called No Law, and it just kind of shows some of the possibilities for these large-scale environments, large-scale populated environments, and where things are heading. It's very, very interesting. So we'll include a link to that tech demo so you all can see it. There's some input from the actual developers, and hey, we were thinking about things this way. Notably, they took great pains to avoid sloughing any of their work off to AI, and all of the environments are. You would love this part of it, Ricky. That they're all really populated with clutter and props, not just junk, but like individually modeled and placed things. it looks like something that like a professional set dresser from a TV or movie production would do.
Right,
Like
right.
it's which when I saw them do that, I thought, oh yeah, a lot of game environments, just because it's economical, or in a lot of machinima, you'll have a couple key props, and I'm guilty of that as well. And this really showed that, okay, that this looks so much more lived in, these urban environments. So yeah, it's a fascinating watch.
Cool.
Um, the next bit of news I know Damien is super excited about.
This is your revenge for
Is
that Halo thing, isn't it?
This is my revenge. Yes, Reallusion has launched. Well, they've done something really interesting and kind of unexpected here to me. I did not see this coming, but they've launched something called their AI Studio, right? And it actually, I found out after updating iClone that it's kind of like an application that's bundled with and sits alongside iClone. And I'm actually a little bit annoyed at the fact that now every time I launch iClone, there's a splash screen there asking me to choose between AI Studio and what they call 3D creation, which is just normal iClone, right? So I kind of like, I guess because it uses so much of what iClone uses, that's why they plopped them together. But I kind of wish it was a separate application altogether. Maybe that just was terribly inefficient for them to do. But simultaneous to that, I can't comment on AI Studio because I haven't even launched it. It's just not something that I've got a need to go even look at right now. So if I do, I'll get back with us on that. But most interesting was their change of approach in how they're making iClone available, and they've actually released a version of iClone now that's called iClone Personal Edition, and it's free. Now, as someone who already bought iClone, I don't know how to properly evaluate that and see what's included. But when you read through the feature list, I'm kind of looking at it like, gee, that seems like almost everything that I use it for is in that free version. I don't know how that makes any sense for them. I don't know what the game plan is there. If they were giving away, an AI Studio or a video AI thing, giving away the program for free, then I'd see, okay, so you're paying for it in credits. When you do AI, you got to pay for credits, right? But with iClone itself, I don't see how that. I don't quite understand the game plan there of how does that help them?
I would imagine they would have a comparison, a product comparison page.
Yeah,
from
they
the
do.
personal edition.
They do. It's just that the personal is surprisingly full featured. Like literally, when I read through it, I thought, I don't see a whole lot on there. Maybe Damien, you read it different, but I don't see a whole lot on that list of the personal features that aren't the bread and butter of what I do. Like I was looking at it thinking, I'm not sure that there's anything that I do now that I couldn't do with the personal version. I understand the idea
of team. Can you do team stuff?
No, but you couldn't really do that with the original either. So
okay,
yeah, that's on the future roadmap, but they're not there yet. Yeah.
How about content?
You still have to pay for the content with the content. Still. There's some free content bundles that came with iClone, but I don't think anybody just relies on those because they are pretty basic, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, and maybe that's it. Maybe it's, hey, get the program in there and we're going to sell more content. Maybe it's.
Well, the thing is, marketplace is scalable, isn't it? Whereas the base tool set probably isn't scalable. It's a little bit like the Unreal Engine approach, isn't it? Where
that's a good example. Yeah,
that's probably what they're.
Blender is free, and you can. It's not as easy to do animation in those, but you can do everything in there that you could do in iClone. Yeah. Unreal Engine is free. It's not as easy to do in there, but you can do. So maybe they're just leveling a playing field in that regard.
Right. There are a couple of limitations with the free one.
Okay.
Which I imagine will not apply to that many people. So you can only export to FXB or other platforms 30
Right.
times. And the other big one is you don't get a commercial use license.
Ah, I did not notice that. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
So, and what's the other one?
What
Oh,
does that mean, the commercial use license?
so
if you wanted YouTube, if you wanted to get money from YouTube by selling your videos, you
If
can.
you want to post it to YouTube at all, because
Yeah, there
YouTube
you go.
itself is a commercial platform. So even if you're not monetized, it's a commercial platform. So, okay, that's quite a limiter. Yeah.
yeah,
But I'm excited by the fact that, how many times have we run into a machinima film that we're reviewing and we say, gee, I wonder what this guy could do if he got his hands on a tool set like iClone. Well, now it's not going to cost several $100s for them to take a chance and see if that's for them. So that's a good thing.
I think it integrates with the other Reallusion things. It's got a thing here with an asterisk that says trial versions only for things like character creators. So maybe you got some limitations with the kind of characters you can import
And
stuff
that would
like
be huge. If it doesn't fully integrate with Character Creator,
Yeah.
then that could be huge. Again, I don't really have an effective way to, like, I don't have a spare PC that can handle it that I could download and try it. And
No.
I'm not terribly motivated to do that. I suppose if there's a lot of interest in the audience, that I will. But
Hey, Damien,
anyway, it's an interesting development.
Yeah.
would you consider contacting John Martin and ask him what their motive was in doing the free version?
Yeah, I can send him an email and see what
he's available on Facebook all the time.
Yeah.
With
That'd be
his
great to
brother.
know.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be willing to talk to you about it.
Okay. Well, one of the other things, before I looked into this list just now, I was thinking, well, this is based on iClone 8, which we know is coming to the end of its life anyway. So they're probably thinking, well, they're not going to sell that many more copies between now and when 9 gets released. We don't know what their plans for 9 are, other than they've got them, because we saw that little teaser a few months back in that video they released saying what's coming this year. So that's what I was thinking. But, we'll see what happens when 9 comes along, which, given Reallusion's tradition, they'll probably announce that tomorrow.
Right after this. Yeah. They have. I have noticed in the past 12 months they offer subscription options for almost all of their software now, but the key is options, and there's still the perpetual license, the ability to purchase
Thank
that
God.
way. But somebody could, if they needed short-term access to the license or wanted to kind of switch it on and off, their subscriptions completely allow for that. So I guess that that doesn't fit my needs, but I can see how, for certain scenarios that might make sense. If I was working on a project, or let's say Damien and I were working on a project, we had a third person who didn't have a license to iClone that was going to work just for a project basis, then they could lease the license for a few months and not be committed to it long term. I don't know. Yeah. There's got to be scenarios like that where it makes sense. For me, I'd much rather have the perpetual. And I hope that they don't go the way of, Microsoft Office, Adobe, QuickBooks. They're all moving now to where you can't purchase it perpetual anymore. It's always a subscription. I hope that they will resist that temptation.
I have a feeling they will, knowing some of the people and the president there. Yeah. I just have a feeling he wants to please. He wants his user base to be pleased, and making that sort of shift would really alienate a lot of people.
Yeah. I prefer the perpetual as well, because then you just got it and you've got it forever.
Yeah.
There's a massive amount of kickback on digital stuff at the moment, no ownership models, is there not?
Yeah.
Yes. That conversation's not over, that's for sure.
Not by any means at all. Yeah.
And last thing that I'll mention is another instance of a free personal edition situation, and it's for the tool called Massive. Now, if you've not heard of Massive, that is the tool that was used kind of famously for those very large battle scenes in Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. This procedural crowd control kind of thing. iClone has crowd simulation features, but I don't think that they scale to the degree that this is capable of. Not on any machine made by humans, anyway. It's
I've tried it.
quite hardware
It's
intensive.
a struggle.
Yeah. So, and frankly, Massive needs quite a hardware, platform to be able to run on it all as well. But it is the same tool that was used by Hollywood, albeit, what are those movies, 25 years old now? 30?
Yeah.
So, but it was a tool that at the time really wowed people that it was pretty impressive that it could pull that off. And they have, in their latest change of pricing model, they've included a free personal edition as well, with very similar limitations, Damien, as what you showed us was on the iClone one. I mean, definitely no commercial, personal use only, no commercial use. I think there are some physical limitations on the sizes that are allowed. Massive, I think, has some either multi-computer or resource sharing capabilities, and the personal version doesn't have that. But it's a way to test and get an idea of, they openly say so on the page. It's want to see if this is for you. But it's not time limited from what I understand. It's just you can use it within the limitations for as long as you want. So I don't know. That's interesting. I don't really tend in the direction of large crowd productions. I'm a little bit more of a narrow focus, a few characters kind of thing. But I know that big battle machinima that's a popular category that people like. The machinima contest that I'm a judge for this month. The name is slipping me now. Sorry, I'm blowing the PR here, but their theme is war, and a lot of the people there make machinima with the Call of Duty games and things like that, where you've got some opportunities for large scale combat to go on. So
I have an idea for you, Phil.
Yes.
Where you could use Massive to fit your style. A day, because you like to do domestic comedy so much. A day in the life of a massive household in which the entire house is filled with people. And suddenly somebody has to shout that we need to go to the store because we're running out of food. So the entire household, the crowd goes down to the shop and hilarity ensues.
You could take that even one step further. Is when they get to the shops, someone needs to go to the bathroom. But the events of male restroom etiquette have just occurred, and so there's a massive queue of people waiting to go in.
There you go. Just have fun. Have fun.
I like it. Anyway, that's all the news that I have for this month.
That's great. I don't have any news.
Right.
But you guys have had enough for me, so that's great.
There you go.
All right, so that wraps up our news segment for this month. Some excellent bits of news. Again, it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but I think we covered some very interesting subjects, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next. And yeah, I'm also going to be keeping an eye on the Reallusion Facebook page tomorrow. And when I say tomorrow, I mean from the day of recording, to see if there are any big announcements, because that tends to happen. They announce something the day after we recorded. But that's it. Thank you for my co-hosts, Tracy, Ricky, and Phil.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
If you've got any comments on this news and things we've been talking about, please send us an email at talk@completemachinima.com, and we'll see you next week with another film review. Take care.
Bye.